Hello everyone, this is Jamal Stick Solomon coming to you with a Good Guys Tax Journey video blog. I hope all is well with you guys and you're enjoying this rainy weather, at least in New York, that we have in. Well, to get straight to it, today's blog post is going to be about your accountant should not be the person that you seek to cry your problems to. This may sound crazy, but I dealt with a lot of tax issues, as small as $1,000, but as high as $500,000. And you'd be surprised out of how many of those cases that I could have saved them tens of thousands of dollars. However, nothing got resolved because they was stuck on their issues. I mean, I had people that cry on the phone to me, and this had nothing to do with taxes. It had to do with divorce, health issues, other mental stuff. And sometimes I'm on the phone for 45 minutes just trying to get them focused. Now, let me tell you something. My wife's a nurse. She is oozing with empathy. Unfortunately, I don't know. I think I'm empathetic. My wife says I'm not, but she's probably right. But, God just didn't make me that person for, to really be like, oh, let me hug you, everything's going to be okay. I do say that, but at the end of the day, you're not hiring me to do that. You're hiring me to make sure you're protected from the IRS or the state government. And even when you deal with somebody else, even if they are empathetic, even if you got the world-class teddy bear of a tax accountant, don't waste that man or woman time just going over your mental stuff. Our job is to figure out a story. Sometimes I do need to know about your mental problems or your health problems because that does help me when I'm negotiating with the IRS. But that should stop. You shouldn't spend more than 20 minutes going on that. Just let me know that, hey, you got diabetes, heart problems, your wife's leaving you with your dog, and I could run with it with no problem, and I can use it to your advantage for tax purposes. But there have been times that there's clients, every phone call, they gotta go over their issues, personal issues. And at the end of the day, it's like an hour later, and I'm looking at myself like, this was the most unproductive phone call ever. And I know a lot of other accountants go through this, and you yourself may be looking at this and think back about when you did pay an accountant, what was your interaction with that person? Let it be known, I am definitely not a mean person by any stretch of imagination. I'm probably too nice because I do listen to them, but at the end of the day, I could tell whether or not I'm going to resolve a case or not, because sometimes people are just so stuck in their ways that they think any solution that I give them, even if I could knock down half of your debt. I mean, it was one time that I knocked down $50K from somebody's debt, and they felt like, it was in their right for the IRS to forgive them because of their personal problems and, eliminate all the debt, which is just crazy. But sometimes when you talk to somebody at that nature, it makes sense to them. But don't believe these, oh, we could give you pennies of the dollars marketing stuff. You have to be in a humongously horrible situation for the IRS to say, okay, yeah, we're going to settle for pennies of dollars. For example purposes, I dealt with a case. Let's say this person ran into a lot of money. As always, I will save my client's identity. And life happened. Numerous health issues. His wife left him, alimony, divorce, house gone. The man doesn't have a penny to his name, but let's just say he was a millionaire, right? So I did an offer and compromise for the IRS. He owed the IRS about over 100,000. I actually got it reduced to $1,000. But let me tell you how I got it reduced to $1,000. He was above 65. I had to prove that his father died around the same age with the same health problems that he's currently dealing with. And not only that, I had to prove that his ex-wife really did take the house because at first the IRS didn't believe it, so I had to go and research some documentation on it. And the only reason why I couldn't get it lower than 1,000, which is great because I saved him over $100,000, and he was actually one of the people that was happy. He had an old beat up car, and I guess that's the last jab the IRS said, oh, he has equity in that car. I mean, this car was like over 10 years old with over 100,000 miles in it. That's penny of the dollar situation. Not your 30 or 40, you just currently lost your job. The IRS don't go for that. They say, okay, 30 and 40, you can still find a job, make it happen. You know, pennies of the dollar is that there's no way you're gonna make more money. Your health situation is horrible. Your age is working against you. Life has to be extreme. You don't want to be in a pennies of the dollar situation. Trust me, you don't want to. But if somebody could come to you like myself and say, oh, listen, yeah, you owe 30,000, but look, I could get it dropped down to 15,000. I could get it dropped down to 10,000. Don't look at your tax accountant and say, oh, I could have did that myself. Because no, there's a lot of art to what we do. You know, I just can't go to the IRS and say you're broke. Now, if I come to you and say this is the best offer, 9 out of 10 times, it's the best offer. So, no, the IRS don't owe you a favor. If you owe them money, we all adults. You knew that you have to withhold taxes. You know that in April 15th, taxes are due. You're not the only person in the United States, so why do you think the IRS owe you something? So if you really want to get your tax resolution problem solved, don't come to your accountant like myself and think that the world owes you a favor. Because listen, I'm not talking to my 3-year-old or 6-year-old in this video. I'm talking to you, the adult. The world doesn't owe you a favor. What I love about taxes, rather than me being a nurse like my wife, there's a solution to every tax problem. It may be not exactly what you wanted, but you could find yourself in a better situation. You just gotta let the tax accountants do their job. You gotta be open-minded, and you gotta man up to your mistakes. A lot of people do not man up to their tax mistakes. There's sometimes that I have tax clients that owe, and you know, that missed the last 10 years of tax returns, owe $100,000, and all of a sudden they hire me, and I'm the problem for all their tax misery. Like, I've been doing their tax returns for the past 10 years, or I told them not to withhold taxes and not to submit their tax return. All of a sudden, they give me a deposit, and it's everybody's fault. It's the IRS fault. It's the state fault. It's my fault. However, it's never their fault. You don't want to fall into that. If you're in that category, I can guarantee your tax resolution problem will never be solved, ever. And I dealt with a lot of cases, so I could tell whether or not you have the mindset for it. So, like I said, I'm not trying to give you advice that you can easily Google. I'm comfortable in my skin on my credentials. You can go to jstaxcorp.com if you want to know, who I am and why I feel like I could, come and talk to you like this. Or you could just simply Google Jamal Solomon, EA, and you can see all the stuff that I do, my credentials, articles I read, books, whatever the fact may be. I just honestly want to give you honest advice from my war stories. And I feel that if you listen, you could learn a lot from it. I don't like seeing people owe a lot of money to the IRS. I do not care if you're my client. I've seen a lot of hurt families, hurt individuals that they will owe money to the IRS for the rest of their life. And it personally hurts me. So you could take this advice or not. But at the end of the day, if you listen to what I'm saying, you could save yourself tens of thousands of dollars. Have a good one, folks. Bye.